How's it going? Wooden Spoon Supercoach here. Let's talk about centre wing. There's a lot of movement going on down there at the moment with injuries, HIAs, teams starting to run hot, teams going cold. So the first guy I want to talk about is none other than Jermaine Asako, who in the top 1% has been brought in by 587 people, which is basically half of the top 1%. Out of all coaches, he's also significantly the most traded in. And I can see why. 625k, -6 break even, projected to go up 90k, coming off a huge score. And I have been quite vocal about my dislike of Jermaine Asako as a super coach option this year. Because just looking at these scores, yeah, 132, cool. 82, also good. But then you've got 55, 70's alright, 47, 61, 50, 40, 114, 30, 30, 30. I don't mind him as a trade in this week, but I don't think he should be this traded in. I think a lot of people are looking at that plus dollar sign and thinking it's kind of a gun option that's also a bit of a cash gen option. I'm really stuck on this because this is a very important decision for me pushing my rank up. And if he comes out and kills it, then I'm going to fall behind significantly. So I'm not sure what I want to do with Jermaine. If we have a look at the draw cover, Dolphins coming into round 15. North Queensland with Origin stars out. That's a good matchup. He could go big. Newcastle at home could go big. South's away in round 17, I feel like, is a little bit more of a tougher matchup than we think. The bye in round 18 isn't ideal, but he does play in 19 against the Sharks, who can also leak points. So I think I am going to have to go against what I've been saying for the past however many weeks and bring Asako in because the Dolphins are heating up. They've beaten some really good sides this year. They've put 50 on. They've scored like 100 points in the last fortnight. And with Asako goal kicking, I see the appeal. But I also see the other side of it where Herbie goes absolutely insane instead, doesn't pass the ball out to him, and we're looking at 40s and 50s again for those 3 weeks. I'm not going to make a decision on it now, but that's all the information you need to know to make the decision yourself. I genuinely could go either way. I have no idea. Next up, obviously Nathan Lawson, the cheapie. If you need a downgrade, I see nothing wrong with that. You can also go Alan Fitzgibbon, who is 10k more expensive, so whatever you want to do there. Jacob Kiraz, 768k, break even of 100. His price is set to stay around this. In his return game, he got himself a 90 with no try assist. It's just pretty much all base and power. So Kiraz is definitely a better option over Asako because he is a season keeper. And if he's scoring 90 in base, like, Jesus Christ, he needs one try and he's got a ton. So if you were tossing up between the two, definitely Kiraz, 100%. Just back on Asako, I think this is definitely a 3-week play and then reassess. It's probably more trades than I'd want to use, bringing him in this week and then flicking him for the last major buy. But the Dolphins are looking good. And you never know, they could be keepers. But Kiraz has got a little bit more certainty about him. On to Hiroti. Just under 400k, 33 break even. He'll probably make a little bit of money over the next few weeks. Let's quickly have a look at the injury ward, see how his job security is. So obviously Ronnie's back this week. Stone Street back round 19. So that's probably who will come in for Hiroti. So round 19 would be the longest you want to keep him. So he's in a similar boat to Asako. He misses round 18, so you'd really only be getting out of him the game against St. George, Broncos, and Melbourne. St. George is a decent matchup. The Broncos are looking better. Who knows if they'll actually string a few games together. And Melbourne is obviously a bit tough. So I'm not super high on the Hiroti play. I would much rather go this next guy over him. Jesse Ramian. 400k, so he's only 10k more. About the same break even. He shouldn't go up or down in cash too much unless he gets some attacking stats. But we've already seen from Ramian that he's got some upside. Never fucking mind. I thought he had way more better scores than that. Okay, so a 93 in round 1, which is a significant outlier. But his base does look pretty good, around the 40 mark. So you will get what you pay for with him. If he does manage to jag a couple of attacking stats, which he may well do with Kaoliro out of the team, maybe they start to favour that other side again. But looking at these scores, he's definitely not the option that I thought he was. Realistically, I reckon he's about on par with Hiroti. So maybe if you were just looking to do something a little bit different and antipod Hiroti, you could go a Ramian. But yeah, after looking at the stats, I can't say I'm that keen on it anymore. The next guy I'd like to talk about, Dane Gagai. Break even at 47, 634k. And we can see here a bit of a slow start to the season, but as soon as he's picked up the goal kicking, it might have been a little bit later than this, maybe around round 11. But in recent times, 68 is his lowest score. And this is in a Knights side that's been going like a busted to the point they're getting booed by their own fans. I think it's a really good sign that when Ponga backed up, he retained the goal kicking. And out of everyone we've talked about so far, I like Gagai as an option the most, probably bar Kiraz. He is 1.7% owned, so he's a huge pod, and he's just safe as houses. He's only gotten one score in the 30s in an 80-minute performance. So we take that out, and you're looking at about a base of 50 or 60. Throw a few goals in there, throw an attacking stat in there, he could easily get a ton. So that's one I'm very closely looking at. Greg Marzu, also a bit of an option, 630k, 82 break even. I feel like his combination with Ponga is like almost dead and buried. It's more about Fletcher Sharp now. So I think when it comes to Marzu, we'd want to see it a little bit before we get him in. And normally he's super high owned. He's 6.5%. That's just unheard of for Marzu. So again, not a fan of that option, particularly at that price. We'll gloss over Lomax until the origin period has finished. Nwakani Dawasi is an interesting one. I've got him in my team at the moment. 112 break even, 680k. He's not cheap. I feel like I brought him in for around 500k, I'm pretty sure, mostly for the origin cover. And he's been doing very well for me. A 43 last week isn't great, but 70, 97, 91, 70, 70, 70 is just similar to a lot of the guys we've been talking about. He jags an attacking stat and he can go huge. And we've seen how good he is in attack. So I'm very happy he's in my team. Would I bring him in for 680k? Probably not. I'd probably fork out the bit more and go a Kiraz. Maybe even an Asako instead. I don't know. But say you're struggling for origin cover for the rest of the year. He's a great option. Plays both the majors, both the minors. And he isn't super owned. 12%. It's not crazy. Not a pod by any means, but still something a little bit different. I kind of glossed over him before, but Ronnie Mulatalo is also an option. 585k is a decent price, I don't mind that. The only scary thing with Mulatalo is his low scores. I'm not sure if he's really had many this year. Yeah, he has. 20 there, 28 there, couple of 30s and 40s. Not too many ceiling games I'm seeing here, but Ronnie is one of those players who will just go on a run of like 3 or 4 weeks and just go ton, 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 ton. This really comes down to Hirotti's role. If he's coming in to fully take over Kaoliro and be the strike weapon, then we probably won't see an uptick from Mulatalo. But if he's just kind of put in there to do a job and Mulatalo needs to step up, then that would be great for Supercoach. He's probably not one I'd be looking at bringing in this week, even though St. George is a decent matchup. But if he was to come out and score a hat-trick this week, everyone will be flocking to him next week. So I also don't mind him as an option. I think that's most of the center wings I wanted to go over. So we'll move away from center wing now. Pappenhausen being the second most traded out this week doesn't make any sense to me. If you were bringing him in for Drinky, yeah, okay, I can see that. But who are the 3 fullbacks you want to be targeting at the moment? Tedesco, Drinkwater, Pappenhausen. Am I forgetting about someone? Yeah, literally, they're right at the top there. Teddy, Pap, Drinkwater. Gutherson is also there as an option, but he's not on the tier of these top 3. Maybe there's some people moving Fletcher Sharp down to fullback. I just don't really get it. There's no one else here that screams by to me. I suppose the same argument could be made for Campbell. Yeah, I find that quite confusing. I'll happily let people get rid of Pappenhausen and keep him myself. Like, it just doesn't make sense. He plays 16, 17, 18, and 19. I don't think the Storm have any more buys for the year. If you were going to sell him, you'd think you'd do it in round 12. So yeah, I don't agree with it. Pappenhausen will be staying in my team until he injures himself or scores low or whatever, but as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, I'm more than happy with him there. The Munster selling, I can understand, being an origin player and that, but for me at least, I want him there for the run home. You could bring in a Jaden Campbell or maybe even a Lockie Galvin once he's starting for the Bulldogs, but it's just another one of those ones where I don't think trading him out is worth the trade and then the second trade to bring him back in if that's what you're planning on doing. That's pretty much everything I wanted to go on about. I just realized I didn't look at who top scored last week. Top score last week is T Red's house with 1594. God, one day this year I will score in the 15s. It's just not fucking happening for me. So, John, if you're watching this, feel free to leave a comment and you will get half of the budget for whatever bet you decide to put on. If you want to do Origin, fine. If you want to do the round of footy, fine. Just let me know in the comments. And the other half of the budget will be split between everyone else. Jet Speed's still top in the league. He's dropped down to 5th, but I can't imagine there's much in it. I think he can still make the push. And it's getting to that point of the year where I'm starting to lose faith that I can actually win the whole thing. There is a lot of time, but 18,600 and I'm sitting on, I'm about 900 points behind. That's a lot. So maybe we shift our focus to just finishing top 1k, I'd be happy with, but anything can happen. It is what it is. Anyway, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and good luck in the second major bye week. Uru.